right now? Can we get a quick thumbs up from everyone who's here? A quick hi or a hello or a greeting, somewhat something that sort of introduces you to us. Maybe introduces your enthusiasm for today. Okay. Hi everyone. So we'll be beginning soon. Before that, I'll just give you a quick introduction about today and what you can expect in the next few classes, right? So hi everyone. A quick hi and hello from everyone who's here. Got it. Great. So I think many people have been here from the last few pre-courses, right? How many people have been here before as well? Have been there in the last few pre-courses as well? Okay. I think Rajdeep says me. Okay. Anyone else? Dikshi, right? Any more people who've ever attended a pre-course, something like that? Okay. Piyush has been there. Mansi, Sanjeev, Rahul, Upendra, Ayush, okay, Akash. I think many people have been here from the last few pre-courses. Great, guys. So I think you have an idea about how we have these sessions, what sort of things we conduct in these sessions, right? So I think you already know about our pre-course, and Rahul says that it was amazing. Thank you, Rahul. So that was a great compliment to our pre-course. But then I think what you can expect from these live classes, these master classes that would be happening now, is that first we'll be introducing you to something, some sort of a concept, some sort of a field that you have never tried before. I think today you might be aware that you'll be starting with front end development. I think many people have never started with front end anytime before this, right? So this would be the first time you might as well start with front end development. This might be the first time you're building a clone, and that too of YouTube, right? So this is the class that would be teaching you the same, and hopefully you'll enjoy the same as well. So how many people have been here for our clone building workshops? Again, another quick question. Will we get a recording of this? You should, but then again, since the instructor would be here live, so they might not be able to answer your questions once the live class ends. So you might have an answer to your questions only if you're here in the live class. Okay. Yeah, so the question, how many of you have anyway tried clone building before? Or any of you who's attended our clone building workshops earlier? Okay. So I think very few people have actually gone ahead and attended our clone building workshops. Great. So I think since that has been the case, guys, you can just go ahead now that you are going ahead with this live class. First of all, you will be starting with clone building from the very basics. So it's okay that you might not know how to go ahead with clone building. You might not have done front end development before. But then again, since you've come to the live class today, you will get an idea about it from the very basics, from the starting. So even if you don't know anything about coding, we start from there, right? And before that, I'll share with you the Discord link wherein you can join and find the recordings, right? So this is the Discord link. bit.ly/AccioDiscord it is. Okay, so I'm just putting this down in the chat section, and yes, here it is. So for everyone who hasn't joined Discord yet, you can go ahead, join Discord. You'll find the class recordings then and there itself. And in case there are any notes that we wish to forward, we'll forward it there itself, right? Okay, guys. And also for anyone who's joined this as their first session of AccioJob, wishing you a great session ahead. And okay, the next thing that I have to announce is that this masterclass thing would go on for the next 3 days, wherein today you will be going ahead and building a clone of YouTube. On the second day, that is tomorrow, you will be going ahead with the placement preparation session, wherein We'll be telling you tips and tricks on how you can crack interviews of top companies, top tech companies, or whatever your dream tech company is, right? So this is something that you will be going ahead with in the later session, that is tomorrow. And day after tomorrow, you will be having our CTO uh, hosting you guys, wherein he'll be telling you more about tech entrepreneurship. So I think these 3 days might be having you venturing into 3 different fields altogether. So wishing you the best for the same, and hope you get to learn a lot from all these upcoming sessions, and make sure that you're attempting the same, right? So once you attend these sessions, you get an idea about a lot many diverse fields and a lot many new arenas or new many tech rules you can step into. So how many of you, I think another quick question from everyone who's here, please be attentive and keep answering these questions so I get to know that we are on the same page, right? So, okay, another quick question from everyone, please answer in the chat section itself. Guys, how many of you have already attempted the coding test? People from this pre-course, are they giving the coding test? I think Sanjeev has already attended. When can I give the test again? So if I fail the test, okay, so if you fail the test once, you can go ahead, give the coding test again next month in the next pre-course, or you can go ahead and book your one-on-one counseling session with our counseling team as well. So they'll guide you about the further process. If you wish to go ahead with the coding test next month, or you can go ahead and join this batch as well, right? So, okay, a lot many people have not attempted the coding test. Why is that so? Why have not many people attended the coding test? Have you guys come to the platform very recently? And okay, for people who have not done the coding test yet, guys, today would be the last day to attempt the coding test. So make sure that you're going ahead attempting the coding test right away, right? And for people, okay, I think Abhishek says that I have no coding experience. Well, you do not even need that. I think that is something that we are really clear about, that you don't need any experience when you're coming to us. As long as you're putting in the effort, and as long as you're into dedicating few hours per day with your instructor, there's nothing else that you need, right? So I think you can be pretty much assured about this. And okay, I think someone has already cleared the coding test and interview. So congratulations on that. Okay. Okay, guys. I think people have already cleared the coding test. A lot, many of you guys. So that's great, guys. Best of luck for the journey ahead. And okay. So I think I've already had whatever announcements I had to make. So I'll just hand over the session to your instructor for today. That's Suman. Suman would be taking over, and she'll be introducing more about front-end development first of all, and how you can go ahead and build your YouTube clone, right? So make sure, guys, once you're going ahead with the session, you're asking your doubts regularly in the chat section itself, right? Second thing, please try working on this project on your own. So what happens is that we'll also be extending scholarships to everyone who's going ahead and making a website or making a clone of YouTube themselves. So try making a clone yourself once you finish with this session, right? We'll be sharing the link for submission with you guys. And yes, that would be it. So that will give you a lot of idea about YouTube clone building. And make sure once you have an idea about YouTube clone building, you go ahead, submit your projects to avail a scholarship in case you have cleared the coding test, or in case you haven't. I think a scholarship would be welcomed by everyone, right? So I think you can just go ahead and make sure that you are attempting this, attending the session, and attempting to make your own project and submitting the same, right? And coding test is going to be, okay, Amit says, ma'am, you said coding test is going to be very easy, but it is very hard. Is it, Amit? So I think I just made it very clear that you have to solve the assignments. Once you solve the assignments, the coding test does become very easy. So make sure that you're going ahead and solving the assignments on a regular basis, right? So on that note, Shivam would, I think Suman would be joining soon, and she'll help you out, right? Suman, can you take over from here?
Yeah, sure, Shikha. I'll take it from here. Okay, so hi guys. Hi Shikha.
Hi, Suman.
Hope you all are doing good.
We would require a quick introduction from you as well. I think you
Sure,
have a profile to brag about, so please go ahead.
yes, I'll start it over. Before that, can I know the audience first? If you guys can tell me where are you guys from, and are you guys college students? If yes, which year are you from? And also, if you are working, so from in which technology or what are you currently working on? That would help me in knowing the audience and telling you guys better. Okay. And also, so do you guys know what today's session is about? Doshik already mentioned that you are going to build a YouTube clone, and also you'll be knowing the basics of web dev, right? So do you have any conceived things like which you would want to know from me? Anything which you want to learn by the end of this session? Okay, so these are the questions I had. Let me go through your comments first. So I see most of the students here are either 2022 pass outs or they are still in college from BTech and as well as different courses, which is pretty good. Okay, so I guess most of the people that are here are quite freshers wanting to learn web dev, right? So cool. Let's get started. Let me just share my screen and then we can just start away. And also don't worry, guys. You guys might be having a lot of questions. So throughout the session is for 3 hours. We are going to start off with it, and by the mid of the session I'll give a small interval, a break, so that you guys can relax a bit, maybe have your food, and then you guys can come back and then we can start over again. Okay, so starting off, so this is a front-end masterclass, not just a YouTube clone that you're going to build. Obviously, you're going to build that, but then before that, 2 days, the 2 days boot camp, let me tell you, since it's today as well as tomorrow, it's a 2-day boot camp for front end. So I'll make sure that I'm going to take you to all the aspects of front end and web dev, basically, starting from the basics to all the things that you should cover to be a good front end dev as well as a web dev, right? So from the basics to the interview level prep, what all things, what all skills you need. Once you have those skills, I'll also tell you how you can build your resume so that you can apply at companies, and also how you can apply to companies. So this end-to-end thing is there. So please stay tuned. Starting off, my intro. So guys, hello, I'm Suman Ghosh. I'm currently working as a software engineer at Navi. So Navi is a BFSI. It's into fintech and stuff. And also it's founded by the founder of Flipkart, that is Sachin Bansal. Prior to that, I worked with Geeks for Geeks as a member of technical staff. I was interning with them. And before that, like I started interning when I was in third year. So it's been a long time since I've been working in all these technologies and have interned with almost 6 to 7 companies as a front-end dev. And also I've mentored over 1,000 students in front-end development. So you can see a lot of videos that are there of me on YouTube as well, and I have educated a lot of people into this, again starting from the basics to the interview. So if any day you guys also feel that you want to know something more about front end, want to deep dive, I'm always there, right? So this is all about me. Also, let me tell you the tech stacks that I've worked upon. So currently I'm working as a full stack dev. So I've worked in HTML, CSS, front end and back end. And in front end, if I tell you, I've worked in HTML, CSS, and then JS, JavaScript, and libraries like React and Angular. And in backend, I'm primarily working in Java Spring Boot. And also, since databases are also there, so these are all the tech stacks that I have worked through over this period of time, from my college days to the days till now. So that's all about me. I hope that gave you a pretty glimpse of myself. So, yep, starting away with today's session, the agenda. It's very important to know what we are going to do today, right? And what our aim should be by the end of the session. Like at 11 p.m., once we go back and sleep, we should feel like, okay, we have learned something new, right? That is what we are here for. That is what you guys are here for, correct? To learn something new, right? Considering that most of the students here are freshers. Great. So cool. Starting with the agenda, what we are going to learn. First, taking from the basics again. As I'm telling you, I don't want to jump into the intermediate or the advanced things. No, I won't do that, because everyone here is to learn from the very basics. So we'll start from the basics itself. So will tell you that what web development is actually, what it constitutes of when we talk about web development, what it actually means, what is the architecture, what all things are included in web development. Then we'll talk about backend and front end. We'll talk about the tech stack, the technologies, the languages, the frameworks that are used in web development. Then a pretty shortcut, and I would say a way or a roadmap to become a front-end developer, because these 2 days of boot camp, we are going to consider more of becoming how you can become a front-end developer, right? So we are going to talk about the roadmap to become a front-end developer. And then, yes, finally, we are going to build our YouTube clone. Okay, so are you guys ready? Excited to learn new things? Come on. Great. So before starting again, I told you that the agenda is, the first thing that we are going to learn is what is web development. Can you guys tell me what is web development? Like the word actually consists of two things, web and development. So any ideas? Maybe like just by seeing the name, you guys can tell me what you guys think, what web development is. Any guesses? Okay, so I see that developing websites, right? Development of web apps, interface, okay, create a website, building websites, right? So everyone is correct. You guys are correct, right? So web development. Web development, as the word you can see, it is made of two words, web and development. When I talk about web, the first thing that comes into my mind is obviously websites, right? So web is nothing. It refers to the websites and the web pages or anything that works over the internet. And development is obviously when we are going to build something from the scratch, that is what we call development, right? So see, that is it. What web development is. See, if I go by the words, right? Building websites from scratch, that is what web development is, right? Now, as I told you, web development, is it just two words? So there is something more to it, right? So let us see what are the components of web development are. Let's talk about web application architecture, right? How things actually work. So have you guys gone through Swiggy or Zomato? Kabhi Swiggy or Zomato have you used on web? Let me show you if not. Okay. So let's search for Swiggy, let's say. Okay. So this is Swiggy's website, right? So wherever I'm currently situated at, it takes up my location. This is, first of all, this is the interface, the website that I can see, right? Which is visible to the user. Now, as a user, when I'm coming to Swiggy, let's say I'm hungry, I want to order food. Okay. So I came here, let's say I want to order pizza. What I'll do, I'll just click on the search button. I'll search for pizzas, right? Once I type it and I hit on enter, it provides me all the layouts that are near to my location, correct? If you are at some location, let's say Delhi, and you search for pizza, it's not going to show you pizzas in Bangalore or let's say UP, right? It's going to show you the layouts around your own location, correct? But have you ever thought, from where is this information coming? Like, how is Swiggy knowing ki, matlab, at this location, these are all the layouts who are selling pizza? There is something happening in the back end, and Swiggy has some store, right? Can I say that Swiggy is having some store jahan pe it has saved all the locations or the layouts where pizza is made. And when I tell Swiggy ki I want to see all the layouts that sell pizza, it just gets me all the information from its store and shows it on my screen. Right? Can I say that? Because for storing, you might need some storage or some space where you can store it, right? All this information, it's coming from somewhere. So this is what is backend. And when I was telling you all the things that you can see here currently on your screen, this is what front end is. This is what websites are. Okay. Now, coming back to our point again, to this thing, the architecture. So again, see, so this is a user, we as a user. Now I'll explain you. I hope everyone got the example, the Swiggy example. Right? So coming back to this, when I talk about web application architecture, so you can see a user here. It says that it collects the data. This is the front end, what user sees and interacts with. And this is the backend. So now let me explain you. So me as a user, I am this user, okay? I want to get some data. What is that data? Since I am hungry, I am searching for the layouts around my location, which are going to sell pizza. So that is the information that I want to collect. Okay, collect data when it is saying. From where? From that Swiggy ka website, which is your front end. Okay, so whatever the user sees and interacts with is the front end, this component. So the website which you are interacting with, clicking on that search button, searching for things, okay, whatever that is your front end. Now I went to the website. What I'm requesting, as I told you, I am requesting for all the layouts who are selling pizza, right? So I searched all those things. I went to my front end, to my website. I wrote pizza in the search box and I clicked on enter. So basically now what front end is doing, what my website is doing, it is going to request all the information that me as a user is requiring from the backend, this thing, see, request. The front end is requesting the backend. Okay, backend. Now, when I was telling you about that store, you remember? All the information like Swiggy stores all its information somewhere. And when you write pizza, it is going to check ki, acha, all the pizza layouts near Bangalore, let's say, it's going to get you that data from its store and show it on your website. If you are going to search burgers, it's going to get all the layouts that sell burger from that storage system, and it's going to show it to your website. So this is what backend is. Okay, it's containing all the information and the logics, the exact logics of the app, that everything that is happening in the backend. So database is that storage where you are actually storing the data. This is all what backend is. So once it has the information, it is going to send the response to the front end, and then front end is going to display you the results like we saw. Like, and this happens in seconds. Okay, in milliseconds actually. You just typed pizza and the front end requested for the information from the backend. Backend got all the information, sent the response to the front end. And now what is the front end? It's a website, right? And we were able to see all the layouts, all the shops within milliseconds, correct? So this is what web application architecture is and how things are actually working from end to end. I hope this is clear. Clear to everyone? So from next time onwards, if anyone is going to ask you, how are the things working when I'm just searching for something on the web, how I'm getting the data, so you can tell them this architecture, just a simple architecture. You see, nothing is very like too advanced in it. The basic thing is that you just go, you search, the front end is there, front end is going to make the request to the backend. The backend is going to have this database wherein it stores the information, and it is going to get you all the data from the backend to the front end, which is your website. And now all the information is visible on your website. You are able to see the data. This is what is happening. Moving forward, so see, here we talked about two components, front end and back end. Let's straight away move to front end versus back end. So I told you what front end and back end is. Let's see what front end versus back end is. So you see this image, right? When I talk about a car, most of the people, so when you buy a car, what all things do you consider? Some people like lavish cars which look good, right? Some people see what are the services which that car actually provides, right? Ki mileage kitna deta hai, and different components, right? So many things are there. So in front end also, as you can see, the outer layout which you can see of a car, that is what front end actually is. But what is actually happening inside that car, the engine and all the parts, all the spare parts, that is what you can say backend is. Backend is not visible to users, but actually how the car is working, it is due to this engine, right? If you don't have this engine, this car won't work. It won't run without these tires, without the engines, without all these spare parts. But they're not visible to you. Is it visible to you? No, right? So similarly, when what front end is, whatever is visible to a user, that is what front end is, and the logics that are there in the back, which are not visible to the user, that constitutes of backend. So yeah, front end focuses on layouts, how the website looks, because everyone wants to visit a good website, right? Have you gone through government websites, guys? Anybody? Yeah. So do you like government websites? Don't you think they are so slow and design bhi itna acha nahi hai, right? But whenever you go to some other website which are privately held, like let's say Flipkart, yeah, some good companies' websites, don't you find them fascinating? Myntra ka website, the UI is good, right? So that is where actually front end focuses on how the website would look, how it would function, because that provides a major impact on the user. If your website is slow, if the UI, the user interface is not good, no user would come to that website. Will a user come to that website? Never. So the graphics, the content, and the front end logic, like the behaviors and everything that constitutes, that comes under your front end. And what are the programming languages that are used in front end? Majorly HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Okay. These are the languages that come under front end. Now, backend. So backend focuses on building the exact logic, debugging, database management, and so many other things that comes under backend. Okay. And what are the programming languages? Again, you have Node.js, Python, Java, Golang. There are so many languages which you can use to build backend systems. Now, as I move forward, let's talk about the front-end tech stack. When I say tech stack, I mean the languages that are there, that are used, widely used for front-end. So the basic languages that you can see here, they are HTML. HTML is the first step, guys. If you want to jump into front-end development, there are three things: HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Okay. These are the gods of front end. Now then you have like the children and the frameworks that come under these. So when I talk about HTML, you can use it purely. Then there are some templates and other frameworks of HTML also: Pug, Handlebars, HTML. These are used by some companies here and there, but you can use HTML purely. So let's consider HTML. Then you have CSS. Okay. Now, what is HTML for? Again, let's come to this. HTML is used to structure your website. So basically, you can say that HTML is the skeleton of your website. Like you having a skeletal system, right? Which supports you, which structures you. So if I say about websites, in websites, HTML is that skeleton. Now, CSS, what is CSS? CSS gives style to your website. So if you go to Wikipedia, if you guys have seen Wikipedia, you might not have seen too many colors in Wikipedia, black and white, right? So sometimes would you want to see a website that is prettily made, which is beautiful, or again a website which is just black and white? A website which is pretty, right? So again, to style those websites, we use CSS, and in them, we have a few frameworks. We have Bootstrap, then we have Tailwind CSS. These are frameworks, okay, libraries basically. And you have some preprocessors, also some better versions of CSS, less Sass, stylus, all these things. And then you have JavaScript, which is the main language. Like for doing front end, you should have the knowledge of JavaScript. That is necessary. Like you cannot say that, okay, I just know HTML, CSS, now I'm a front-end developer. No, not like that. You need, now since you have made a skeleton and you have styled your web page, so you want to add some behaviors also to your website, right? So let's say we as humans, we have a skeleton, we have good clothes, let's say, but if we didn't have those emotions, we were not able to walk, we were not able to talk, we were not able to express our feelings, behave, do we are actually humans? Can we call ourselves humans if we don't have those emotions and those movements and those behaviors? Can we even call ourselves human? No, right? So again, similarly, so for adding those behaviors to interactions to your website, we use JavaScript. So any website that is just having HTML and CSS, we call it a static website. Let me give you an example. What do I mean by a static and a dynamic website? Okay, let me give you a straight away example. Let's say Wikipedia. If I go to Wikipedia's page, like I can see just see pure information about something, right? It's just information, nothing more. Correct. So this is a static website which is not having any interactions. You can just come, it's just having normal HTML and CSS. You can come and read stuff here. But whereas, as I showed you the example of Swiggy. So Swiggy is so interactive. How? Let me show you. So see, on the button click of search, I can search anything. If I click on burger, it's going to show me all the layouts, get me the information. If I click on this button, it's going to show me the information of the menu of this place. And if I click on this button also, I'm able to add items. So it is so dynamic. You can interact with this website. Correct. I can interact. Whatever I am wanting to search in this website or get an information from it, I'm able to get that by clicking some buttons, and I can add stuff, do stuff on this website. Correct. So this is what a dynamic website is. And what helps it in making dynamic? It is this JavaScript that is going to make it dynamic. Okay, this JavaScript. Now, JavaScript has frameworks. Okay, these are frameworks what are frameworks? Okay, so frameworks are made by some really awesome engineers to actually ease your coding so that you code comparatively less, the boilerplates, the basic codes. It helps you in structuring your code and many more things. Okay, so when I talk about frameworks, there are three major frameworks for JavaScript. The best framework and the framework, not best, actually, the framework that is quite used by so many companies, almost all the companies, the big companies that are currently working using front end, the tech stack that they use is React.js. Then many companies use Angular also, and Vue. These are the three frameworks that are there in JS. Then you have TypeScript also. Once you know JavaScript, when you have good knowledge of JavaScript, you can jump on learning frameworks, and then you can also learn TypeScript. So TypeScript is a subset of JavaScript, is a part of like another version of JavaScript, which includes type. So once you know JavaScript, it will be pretty easy for you guys to learn TypeScript also. Not very different from JavaScript, quite similar only. Okay. So these are the front-end technologies that are used by companies all over. Like almost all the good companies use all these technologies in front end. So anyway, if you feel ki might be thinking ki Are, yaar, that big company Amazon, ya fir let's say Flipkart, Myntra, what do these guys use for front end? Which all languages? So here is the answer. They use normal HTML, CSS, and some libraries. And yes, for the coding part, they use JavaScript for front end, nothing else, and React. If I talk about the library specifically, then they use React. Okay. So any doubts still here, guys? Any questions you want to ask? Let's come back to your questions and answer them. Everyone, is it pretty clear? Okay, so how deep we should learn these? So, guys, no language has a certain bar ki हाँ, if I learn this language till here, मतलब advanced level हो गया या intermediate level हो गया, basics हो गया. There is actually no end to learning any language. Just that जितना काम में use होता है, and if you have interest in dwelling up to things, yep, go ahead. No, guys, Java and JavaScript are completely different. Just that Java is common, but they are completely different. Golang is again a language which is used for backend. Okay, so what is a framework, guys? So what happened when we use these languages as raw? So what happens like to create a website or for backends also, things become very pretty difficult when we use these raw languages, let's say Java or JavaScript. Let me talk about JavaScript only. So if you're going to make a website using JavaScript, so you'll have to write a lot of code. You'll have to maintain a lot of files. For doing the same thing, you'll have to write repetitive code, redundant code, okay? And also a lot of code actually. So these frameworks came into rescue to help people to reduce the repetitiveness of code, to like make the code structure better, to make the what I say, the code components better, in which you design your components. It makes it helps you, the frameworks helps you in making your code structure better. So that is how frameworks help. Frameworks provide you the boilerplate, the basic code already, and it provides you a lot of things, a lot of powers which are there in built, which helps you in creating better websites, I would say. Okay, so let's move on. Now, since we have talked about the front-end technologies, let's talk about the back-end tech stack. So in the back-end, there are these many languages, Node.js. Node.js is again a runtime for JavaScript. So if you guys know JavaScript, you guys can quickly jump into Node.js. It will be easier for you guys to learn it. And these are some other frameworks which are included in it. So Node.js is a runtime environment for JavaScript. Then you have Ruby, then you have Python. Many of you might have heard of Python. So Python is used for backend, Java, PHP, C Sharp, and then you have Golang. So currently, guys, major companies, all these product-based companies and good companies are actually using either Java and Golang. Golang is fast, actually, quite a fast language. So either they're using Go or Java. Like almost, if you talk about the very good companies who have a good pay, they are majorly using Java for their backend. Okay, and then they are using Golang also. And yes, Python, the startups, the small startups, they are using Python and Node.js. So these are the companies, most of the companies which are using these languages, Java, then Go, Python, Node. So these are the stacks which they are using. And for the database, as I told you, is for storing your information, right? So there is MySQL, Redis, MongoDB, Oracle, all these things where different technologies which you can use to store data. Then there is Postgres, right? And then one more very important thing which you should learn irrespective of you are a backend developer or a front-end developer, which is GitHub. So I'll talk about it quickly after this. So, okay, let us jump into the front-end roadmap. I'll take it away very quickly, okay? I'll not exaggerate it or take it at a very slow pace. We'll see what we should learn one after another, very clear roadmap, okay? And then we are going to quickly start with the theoretical things, which is our YouTube website, right? So in this, we are going to see about the basics of web, which you should learn. what all languages you need, what all frameworks do you need, and yes, the other extra things that you should learn. What's the total path from a noob, from a fresher to a front-end developer? Okay, so let's move on. So yes, let's go through our roadmap. So the first thing, guys, first of all, as I told you, we are going to see if you are wanting to become a front end or a back end, whatever developer you want to become, ultimately you are a software developer. Okay, you are going to create softwares, right? Front end, back end, web developer. You are, let's say you want to someday become app developer also, who make apps for androids, yeah, for iOS developer. So ultimately we are developers, right? We are software developers. And one thing we should know, the basic. So people who are asking me, and after this also many people would be asking me, कि ये करने में कितना time लगेगा, like in how much time can we become a front end dev? Yeah, how many days should be devoted? So there are no days. Like you guys, the first thing that you guys should know are the basics of software development. And what are the basics? There are a few subjects which I would recommend you to study before, like if you have some time before the courses, you are planning to join some course, right? So before that, let me recommend you some courses which you guys should go through to at least know the basics of software development. I see many of you here are not from the software background. So guys, it'll help you a lot in learning about software. First thing that you should know is a language. Just pick up a language. Okay, so if you want to become a front-end developer, I would recommend you JavaScript. But before that, if you guys are starting from the very basic, just pick up C and C++. Okay, that's the very basic. Once you know how the coding happens, how to use loop and here and there, then you are good to go, like on the coding part. But yes, the other courses, the other subjects which you should also know are, first of all, operating system. So what are operating system? Linux, and then your Mac, you have Windows, how the things are actually working in it. So one is your language. Just pick up any language. That is the first thing you should do. Let me just write it rather. So do one thing, pick up any language. Okay, C, very basic, C++. If you know that, okay, nahi, I want to become a front-end developer only, then pick up JavaScript. Once you do that, the second thing which you should learn is about OOPS concepts. OOPS concepts. So these are high-level paradigms, okay, which you should know about OOPS concepts. So again, there are many resources that are there for OOPS concepts also, which you should learn of. So object-oriented programming, that is what it is. Object-oriented programming. Okay. Then the third thing which I would recommend you guys would be knowing about databases. DBMS, okay, databases, let me say, database management. And then about operating systems. So you can go and check out on Geeks for Geeks. You'll get so many documents and related blogs on that, operating systems, how things are actually working, right? And then networks, computer networks. I tell you what all these subjects are actually doing. I told you to pick up a language, that is basic. Object-oriented programming. So how to write actually a better code, how you can structure your code, right? All these things you will actually learn in OOPS. right? So this is what OOPS, and there are a lot of things that are there in OOPS. It's the basic, the core of the core fundamentals. These four things are actually irrespective of any language. Use any language, pick up any language. These four things are the pillars of software development. So that is what I would recommend you initially. Database, again, irrespective of what you are, front end dev, back end dev, just know how things actually work in the backend, how we get data, how the things are stored, how things are queried, right? So you learn that in database management, operating systems, how your system, the Windows, how it is actually working, how requests are coming, how it is handling so many requests at one time, correct? So you are actually, let's say I'm on this computer, right? I have opened Zoom also, I'm giving this lecture. I have opened this system also where I'm just drawing stuff, let's say. Then I have my code editor also where, let's say, I'm adding something. How this operating system is able to manage so many things. So all those things you will learn here. Then computer networks, how things actually are going from one place to another. When I told you ki front end say back end responses go, requests go, and then you get the response end to end, connecting things, the networking and everything, how the web actually works, all those things are covered in your computer networks, how internet actually works, how networking is actually done. Okay, so these are the building blocks that I would initially recommend you to learn, because once you guys know this thing, right, you guys are one step ahead than other people. Because majorly, see, wherever you go to whichever companies, don't think if you know 10 languages they'll hire you. Not like that. Good companies always focus on your basics. If your basics are strong, they'll have you in their company. That doesn't matter he you know React or let's say 10 languages, 20 languages, or so many frameworks, doesn't matter to them. If your basics are good, they'll hire you. That is why I'm telling you these are the basic things that you should learn first. Now once you have done them, and these things should go side by side, okay, learning of these all these subjects should go side by side. Now once you have done all these and you want to take up something else also, let's now focus on what exactly should we know in front end. If I talk about front end very specifically, basics as in you should know the system. Okay, now, so what do you guys need to know as a front end developer? All these questions, very straightforward. How does the internet work? That is the pretty basic thing. What are web crawlers? How do these work? What is HTTP? What is HTTPS? Browsers, how things are actually rendering. So don't worry, I'm going to. So for all the answers of these questions, you will have to stay tuned with me for tomorrow's class, because all these questions which you see here, I'm going to cover all these questions tomorrow. The answers for all these questions I'm going to cover tomorrow, and all the questions that are going to be asked in interviews. Why I'm telling you about this roadmap, I want you guys to be prepared, since our ultimate goal is to apply and go to a good company, right? So we want to prepare for interviews, and yes, we want to become a better developer, right? We want to solve problems, good problems. So that is why whatever things I'm going to take up today, don't worry, it's not the not something like that ki bas ha, I'm taking the practical things. I'm going to take up the theoretical part in HTML CSS today, and for the JavaScript part you'll have to stay tuned tomorrow. Okay, so for this, these are the questions: DNS and how it works, domain name. So you might have seen ki, let's say this website is having roadmap.sh/website. This is the domain name. How is it actually hoisted? How, let's say, if I want to create a new website and I want to give it a name suman.com, let's say, how do I do that? Okay, where do I need to host it? What actually hosting means? Also, let's say, whenever you go to a website, you type it something in the URL box, you search for it, and a page renders in front of you. How that rendering happens, there is some mechanism. Everything in software has a mechanism. Okay, so we are going to see all those things tomorrow. Then the basic thing, once you know about the basics of internet, now about the languages. As I told you, the first thing that you should know is HTML. And what all HTML includes? Basics, as in what are the tags in HTML that are used, what are forms. Form is a very important aspect in HTML. Then what is semantic HTML, SEO, okay, and layouts. What do layouts include? Okay, these are, HTML is a very small topic. If I tell you, like, if you want to start with this, you guys can actually cover HTML in, let's say, 1 or 2 weeks. Don't devote much of your time in HTML ki 1 month you are going to take up for HTML. No, you can just crack up HTML in 1 or 2 weeks. It's quite simple. Okay. So once you have done this, the normal tags, how formatting is done in HTML, and we are going to take up in today's class all these things, don't worry. Okay, once you have done HTML, you can move to CSS. For CSS, take some time just to brush up your basics and how they are actually put. So in CSS also, how CSS is added, and then you have these important concepts, very important concepts. Okay, so in interviews, these 6 things are the most important questions that are actually asked: floats, positioning, display, box model, CSS grids, and flexbox. Okay, we are going to see about it. And then media queries, making layouts. I already told you, right? And don't worry, we are going to take up all these things in our today's session. Positioning and then displays, box models, I'll tell you about them. Then once you are done with it, move to JavaScript and see, this is the building block of your learning. So don't rush. JavaScript is something which you should know by core. Like, you can learn about any framework, but you should have a good grasp of JavaScript. So in companies, let me tell you, for the product based companies, they don't generally ask you ki if you which framework do you know React or you know Angular. It doesn't matter to them. For them, what matters is your knowledge of JavaScript, because that is the main thing. See, someone who doesn't know grammar in English, the first thing in English, when we talk in English, the first thing is what we learn is ABCD. Then we learn making words, right? Then we learn about grammar. A person who doesn't know grammar can actually not speak in English correctly, like, right? So similarly, a person who doesn't know JavaScript cannot actually build stuff using any framework. So JavaScript is that very basic thing which you should know by heart for being a front-end dev. Now, what do we have in that? We have the basics. You have DOM manipulation. You should know how to fetch APIs. APIs are going to get you that data, that request which you did from the backend, right? You need the response now. So all that data you can fetch from the API. And then there are so many concepts that are there. Once you have done JavaScript, and also guys, I'll give you the link for this whole roadmap. So don't worry. Once you are done with JavaScript now, so JavaScript is a vast thing, as I told you, and there are many resources from where you can actually learn JavaScript. Okay. So some resources are Geeks for Geeks, and better than that, you have javascript.info where you can go and learn. Then you have the best playlist for JavaScript is Namaste JavaScript, which is by Akshay Saini on YouTube. So you guys can go and learn there also if you want to learn a very good resource for front end JavaScript. So once you are done with JavaScript, now what you guys can do with this, you should also know about version control systems. Okay. Now, what are version control systems? Let me talk about this. Very important thing. Version control systems. So what a version control system? Let's say ki today I made a website, okay, and it's on my laptop currently. I coded something, and what I told, let's say I have a group of 6 people, and we are working on a same project. Okay, the same project. What will happen? Let's say I am having a change. I made a change to a website, but that change is there on my local, right? It's not present on my friend ka laptop. He made another changes to the website. The third friend made another change. Fourth friend did some other change. So 5 people having 5 different changes. And let's say I want to show this website to my teacher tomorrow. Assignment diya tha teacher ne. So now abhi compile karke I'll have to show. So can you think of it so difficult? I'll have to take the code from them. I'll have to see here yaar, what all changes my friend 1 did, what all changes my friend 2 did, and it's so difficult in compiling all those differences. And you can say these are the versions actually. एक version, दूसरा version है, तीसरा version of the code है, and मेरा 5th version of code है. If I want to compile that thing, I would require something. So this is the still, let's consider 5 people now, where when you are going to work in companies, so many people are going to change the code on regular basis, right? They're going to write more code and change the code. So the other person should have the current code, the latest wala code. How do we do that? We do that using version control systems, and this includes your Git. Okay, Git is a version control system which provides you all these things. So you guys can go to Git and you guys can search about GitHub is a platform which provides you all these things. GitHub. See. So if you go here, Git provides you a place where you can, so now since you have Git and then you have GitHub, GitHub is a website which provides you this functionality. How? Let me tell you. So abhi what happens? If I want to code something, I have made a change, I'll push my code to Git. What I'll say, I'll ask my other friend, ki arey, now my code is present centrally. You guys can also access it. Anyone else can also access it. Okay, let me show you how. Okay, so let's say this is my profile. On GitHub, I have so many repositories. I have added a lot of code here. So now if you guys also want to see my code, okay, let's say this Talk.js chat app, you guys want to come, you guys can come here, you can see the code. Okay, you guys can clone this code and have a copy of it in your laptops. You guys can make the changes to it. You guys can push it. And once I give you the access, your code will be merged with my code. So isn't it so easy? Ki let's say I'm telling my friend, ki see all these changes I have made. So you take a pull of my code, the current code in your laptop. So he takes the current code in his laptop, he makes the changes accordingly, and then again he pushes all the changes to this place. So the code remains intact always. And you need not create that hassle ki arey yaar 5 logo ka code difference pehle check karna hai, then I'll have to merge that code. It will be so easier from here. And that is what versioning is. Versioning. So you might have seen ki app version ya Android ka version change hota rehta hai, correct? So that is also versioning. Yahan pe bhi versioning helps. How? कि मेरा पहला कोड गया, so it can be called as version 1. किसी और का, like we have released a second version of that code, third version of that code. All those things can be maintained on GitHub. So let me provide you my GitHub link so that you guys can also explore it. and I'll upload the code once the scholarship is done. You guys can actually go to the repos. There are some very useful repos present here, which you guys can use. Google Meet clones, and then you have Swiggy clone and different codes that are present. You guys can go and actually provide a star also. Okay. So let's go ahead. So this is what you guys should learn. So irrespective of any developer you are, you have to know about Git because all the companies use Git. Okay. So this is one major thing which you should learn about: version control systems, basic usage of Git, web security knowledge, knowledge of security, what is HTTPS, what is CORS, all these policies that are there, package managers, not a major stuff. Like if you are starting as a fresher, no issues. You might not need to know about these package managers and the architecture. That is completely fine. What you should guys should also know about the frameworks. So as I told you, JS has three frameworks. You can just pick any of the frameworks. React being used currently, like so many companies are actually using React. So you guys can start with React. Okay. And yes, let me share this with you. It's a very detailed, very detailed roadmap, but I wanted to tell you only the things that you should know right now. And what all things you should know right now? As I told you, all these things. And specific to front end, you should know about HTML. Then next step is your CSS, then JavaScript, and pick up any framework. Okay, out of React, Angular, or let's say Vue, right? And also Git. You guys should know about Git. Okay. Bootstrap is a library for CSS. So you have Bootstrap, and there are so many things which you guys will learn. Bootstrap, Tailwind, CSS, these are different libraries of CSS. Okay. Any doubts, guys? Any doubts till here? So I hope this quick roadmap was clear to everyone, and at least now you guys know the basics. I had shared the GitHub link with you guys. Yes, Pratyush, I'll take up the HTML CSS part today, and JavaScript, some basic questions and questions that are asked in. Since guys, let me tell you, tomorrow's session will be very specific to interviews. It's for placements, wherein I'll cover a lot of things as to how front-end interviews actually go, what rounds are there for software developer ones, the UI1 developers, right? So, and what are the technologies that you should know when you are applying for such roles, how you can apply, and also on your resume, like how you should build your resume for all these roles that will be taken up. Okay, I guess I didn't share the GitHub link. Just a second. So here it is. And Just a second, guys. Let me share the roadmap with everyone. I guess I just shared it with the panelists earlier. I'm so sorry. I'll share it right away. Yeah. I hope you guys have the links now. I'm so sorry. I actually sent it to the panelists. Okay, so let me go through your questions, the questions that we can pick up now. Which one best for front-end application, React or Angular? Guys, both are good, but currently companies are massively using React because slightly it is easier to learn also and easier to maintain also. So that is why many companies, like almost all the companies, good companies, are actually using React. ओके गिटहब पे प्रोजेक्ट डालने से प्लेसमेंट में कोई फर्क पड़ता है या फिर डीएसए करने से हो जाएगा गाइस इट हेल्प्स अ लॉट सी लेट्स से देयर आर सो मेनी पीपल हु आर डूइंग डीएसए ठीक है बट they are not having any projects but you have done a good level of DSA also and projects also that gives you upper hand because let me tell you DSA helps you a lot in solving questions but when you go to कंपनीज राइट वहां पे डेवलपमेंट एक्सपीरियंस ज्यादा काम में आएगा सो डोंट बी अ नूब की बस आई बी डूइंग डीएसए नो डोंट डू लाइक दैट like create some projects, do some internships. That is going to help you a lot in creating a resume, a good resume. Actually, as I told you, when I was in second year, after that only, so I had created a lot of projects which helped me in grabbing an internship merely by the end of the second year, because I was also from a tier 3 college which doesn't have quite a good placement. So I wanted to grab opportunities off campus. So for that, I had to work hard. I had to make projects and I had to work with companies just to know how actually development is done in companies. That experience helps you a lot and gives you upper hand with respect to the other people that are competing with you. Okay. वेब डेव के लिए कोडिंग अच्छी आनी चाहिए एवरेज ऑलवेज ट्राई टू बी अ गुड प्रॉब्लम सॉल्वर आई वोंट से कि नहीं मतलब बस नॉर्मल नॉर्मल कर लो शायद अगर मैं नॉर्मल कहूंगी देन यू गाइस विल जस्ट कि ठीक है यार बहुत लाइट है ऐसा नहीं होता इफ यू आर एमिंग फॉर गुड कंपनीज कोडिंग अच्छी चाहिए बॉस if you're not aiming for good companies then it's fine but since you are here I would want you guys to prepare for good companies because everyone can do it. It's not that hard. Coding everyone can do, not a pretty difficult thing. Okay, difference between web development and web designing. So designing is what is done by the designers मतलब वो frameworks मतलब the design is there. Let me give you an example. So let's say have you guys ever gone through dribble? तो dribble पे जाते हैं. Can you guys see this design? So this is just a template है ना? So what I can do, this template, these templates are made by designers. उन्होंने design कर दिया है. Now you as developers are going to develop these using languages and make them interactive. ऐसा. So that is the difference between a web developer. A designer just designs this stuff. Just a mere design. इसके click करने पे यहाँ पे अगर button भी होगा कुछ, let me show you. Let's say हाँ ठीक है. So can you see? These are just images. अभी यहाँ पे click करने पे I cannot navigate to some other page. But what web developers do, they develop this complete website. So that's the difference. Yes, guys. So don't worry. Like in today's session, so we'll take up HTML, CSS, and after that, tomorrow I'm going to pick up a very important topic of placement as well as some questions, some interview questions of JavaScript. And also, I have made a document wherein I have added the interview questions of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, which I'll provide to you guys tomorrow. Okay. Is my screen not visible? Oops. Sorry guys. Okay, yep. So I was showing you Dribble. Let me show it to you. हाँ, तो Dribble पे जाते हैं. If you guys see here, so let me go to this section. Case study hai. This is a case study. Let's see this. So can you see this is just a portal. ठीक है? A design. If I click on this export button, कुछ नहीं होगा. So what is the work of a designer? They provide you this design. When you'll go to big companies, there are designers who are going to design all these things. They are going to provide you this whole layout. Now, as a developer, what is your job? To make all these things running. By clicking on these check boxes, this data should appear. All these things are done by web developers. That is the difference. The functionality is provided by the developers. My screen should be visible now, guys. Right? My screen is visible, right? Okay. Great. So guys, I guess we have covered a lot of questions. Now let's start with the practical part, which is our YouTube clone. And with the YouTube clone, let me announce this. So for the YouTube clone, we are going to learn the basics of HTML and CSS, and we are going to know how to use dev tools, the shortcuts of using like making this website, right? And also some important concepts from the point of view of interviews. Okay. And for this, you would require a VS Code. It's a editor, a code editor, which you can find here. Just write VS Code download. Okay. You'll have to go to this page, and you like, if you are on Windows, just download this. And you guys are ready. That is what you guys need to know for this session. You just need to have VS Code, and that's all. And some enthusiasm. But before that, do you guys want a 5-minute ka break? Okay. So why I'm giving you 5 minutes, guys, so that you guys can, people who have not installed, who don't have VS Code, maybe can install it. Okay. And also for people who already have it, just please grab a sip of water. And meanwhile, I'll also get some water. Okay. And then we'll resume. Works? Yes, right. Don't forget to add extensions, and don't worry, I'm going to help you guys in the extensions part also. Okay, so let me go through the questions meanwhile. Shailja, see, there is no straight away मतलब कि हाँ कि जो मैं बता दूंगी वैसे ही होगा, but yes, first thing is you need to have skills. मतलब जो मैंने languages बताई, work on them, like make good projects. Then internships कर लो. Internships help you in gaining that experience, and then you can apply in good companies. कि हाँ, internships में क्या होता है? You get to work on live projects, so that helps a lot. Knowing कि for companies it's helpful to understand कि अच्छा that person has already interned with companies, so the person knows कि हाँ actually काम कैसे होता है, right? So it helps. चित्रंजन, I can understand. Sometimes see what happens कि हम जो भी requirement हमने जैसे भी बताई होती है हम कर लेते हैं, but हमें responses नहीं आते हैं. So what you can do is in that way कि अगर आपको naukri.com या किसी भी और प्लेटफॉर्म से नहीं आ रहे हैं अपॉर्चुनिटीज, तो सर्च फॉर पीपल ऑन लिंक्डइन. अगर आपको पता चल रहा है कि कहीं पे ओपनिंग्स है, लेट्स से फ्रंट एंड की, आप naukri.com से देख लो किसी कंपनी में, किस कंपनी में ओपनिंग है. आप वो कंपनी लिंक्डइन पे जाके सर्च करो, ठीक है, एंड उसके एम्प्लॉयज जो है वहां से कनेक्ट करो, उनसे रेफरल्स मांगो. Ask for referrals. Okay, ask the people who are working in that company to refer you, to consider you. Okay, that becomes easy. And also guys, don't worry on this part ki pura placement journey kaisa rehta hai and how do you guys should apply, how should your resume look, how to approach recruiters. All these things I'm going to cover tomorrow, A to Z. So don't worry if you are having all these questions related to placements. Don't worry, I'm going to answer every single question of yours tomorrow, and tomorrow ultra clear ho jayega on the interview procedure, on the applying procedure and everything. Yes, Soumya. The batch that is starting from 2nd December, I'm going to teach that batch. And I hope you guys are enjoying and you want me to teach. How to improve DSA? By practicing. It's the same question like maths kaise improve kare? By practicing more and more questions. Same way. No, Randeep, not matlab as such, it's not very hard and fast ki aptitude karna hai. Some companies ask for it. 99%, 90% companies don't ask for aptitude. So chill. Guys, we'll not consider any topics regarding DSA right now. This is more of front end. So let's stick to that. Let's not make the questions diverse, or else we'll just go off road, off track basically. So, okay, I guess everyone is ready with their VS Code editor. So are you guys excited to make the clone now? Should we start? If you guys are ready, come on, tell me. Cool. So let's get started. So let's hurry up and let me just show you what are we going to develop today. As I told you, we are just going to create a very simple clone of HTML, CSS. So here is what we are going to develop. This is what we are going to develop. So as you might see, let me show you. Go to normal YouTube also. YouTube pe jate hai and let's check. What all do we have on YouTube? So, okay, this is our YouTube. It's basically divided into so many sections, right? This left bar is there, sidebar, then you have the stop bar, and then you have all these sections wherein you have all the videos, right? So this is what we are going to make. Same. Works? Okay, I see excitement. That's good. I like it. So you just have a look at this. I'll give you 5 minutes, okay? For others also. That's good, Soumya. Everyone can people. I'm hoping many people are there on the call on this class who might know this. That's pretty good. But then there are people who might not know this, and that is also good. That is what we are here for, right? Struggling for JavaScript. So in our courses, what we do, we like I myself, when I was learning JavaScript, so how I used to study it, I used to make clones by myself in JavaScript. So whatever things, let's say, to do, and I'll provide you a website, guys. People who are struggling with JavaScript, there is this JavaScript 30 days. So, yep, this website is there. You guys can follow this website. There are so many tasks that are there. 30 days, 30 videos, and 30 things which you guys would learn. So people who already know about it, matlab know JavaScript, struggling a bit on this, can search this, okay? Share the link already. You can check the chats. Just give me a minute, guys. I'll just grab some water. Okay, so I'm back. Now let's start with the coding part. So the first thing, as I told you, you just need to open your code editors. Let us do that. So what you guys need to do, just create a new folder. Here I am going to create a new folder of mine. Let me call it YouTube clone. Okay. And I just right click. I'll open a new terminal. Let me type it here. Oops. Is my screen not visible? Is it? Just a second. Guys, is this section visible? This documents wala section? Right? So I just created a new folder yahan pe. Okay. And now what I'm going to do, let me just open a new window. I'll click on open here and I'll go to the location, which was documents, and then I can go to YouTube clone and I can just open this. I hope my Visual Studio Code is visible to everyone. Guys, it's going to be a very simple website. And also let me tell you, what is your assignment? Already Shikha told you guys that the ultimate goal of this website is to, of this session is to provide you knowledge as well as prepare you for the scholarship test. Okay, so so people who are asking me about the costs ki kya rehta hai courses ka fees and also for them, courses ka fees you guys can reduce by providing the assignments in the scholarship test. So what does the scholarship test include? Whatever we are going to build today, this React clone, you guys can actually code it yourself and a link will be provided to you in the pre-course website. Okay, there you'll have to upload the this whole code, and whosoever completes the code, there are some more criteria, you will be shortlisted for the scholarship. So for whatever course you are going to apply for, you are going to get a scholarship for that if you just make this pretty simple YouTube clone. So you'll all have to stay tuned with me. And it is going to be really quick. So soch lo, for just a small website, if you have a chance to get a scholarship, I don't think anyone is fool out of head to not want to, who doesn't want to grab this opportunity, right? Everyone wants to grab this opportunity. I want to hear from Shikha ki there were so many people who actually submitted this website. So I want every one of you to grab the scholarship, okay? So that I guess I can see you guys on 2nd December in the batches, okay? Ha, abhi Java pe tha because the classes were for Java, right? But now since it's front end, so the website will be on front end, okay? So let's start, guys. Starting with a folder, I'll just click here. Okay, before this, the extensions that you can download are, you guys should go to this extensions wala section and just search for live server. So just click on this live server and you'll have to click install. Since I have already installed it, that is why it's showing me uninstall. You guys need to click on install live server by Ritvik Day. The second thing that you guys can actually configure is prettier. It is going to help you in making your code prettier by the name. So just go to this code formatter using prettier and click on install. Okay. Once you have done this, let's start off now. So be very, very, very attentive, guys. Now, please be very attentive. Koi bhi doubts, any of the slightest doubts, just let me know. First, we'll start with our first file, which is index.html, the HTML file. We will create one CSS file and we'll name it style.css. Okay. Index.html for writing all the HTML code, CSS for adding all the stylings. Okay. In HTML, I'll just write doc and I'll hit the tab. Okay. So it gives me the boilerplate. I'll write here YouTube clone. Okay. And let me just give an H1 tag and hey. So this is what I have done. Simple. Just click on go live. Let's see, what do we have? Okay, so can you see we have hey printed here? I'll just keep it here. Okay. So yes. Okay, what do you need to do? Just write, this is the boilerplate, so doc likho and just hit on the tab. TAB wala, there is a button, right? Just hit on the tab. This is your YouTube clone. So guys, in HTML, you have, okay, this is missing one thing. It should be wrapped inside a, let it be this, okay? So now I have YouTube clone. Another way of getting this whole code easily is that you can just write exclamation mark and hit here. Okay, tab, hit the tab, exclamation and tab. Yeah, I know, Soumya, thank you. Okay, so moving forward, can you guys tell me what does this doc type do? What is doc type for? Soumya, can you tell? Correct, guys, correct. Shahid, Sohail, Suvarna, Gautam. Correct, guys. So doc type is actually telling you the document type. What is the document type? It is HTML. Okay. And when it is HTML, what is it actually saying? So the current version of HTML is 5. So earlier what happened when there was HTML4, we used to write it like this, HTML4 karke. Now since we have HTML5, this is how it is going to tell you ki, acha, the document type is HTML. And then the HTML actually starts. You need not know want this lang. It is fine. So inside doc type HTML, after that you have this main tag, which is HTML, inside which all your code resides. Now inside HTML, you have two tags. One is your head tag and one is your body tag. Okay, these are the two tags that are present inside your HTML. What is the difference? Everything that is visible on the screen is actually written inside the body tag, and anything that you don't want the user to see is written inside the head tag. So all the meta tags, what are these tags? They just give you some information. Okay, just consider it like this: ki the char set of this whole document is UTF-8. This is some compatibility. You can remove it for now. Okay, we don't need this. We need the viewport. What does it actually specify? Ki the width, whatever we are making, whatever website we are making, the width should be actually equal to the device width. Whatever the device width is there, it should take that device ka width. So these are some information. You want to link to some style sheet. I'll give you an example. So now I want to link my CSS file to it so that I can use it. How I can do that? Using the link tag. What is rel? It tells you the relation. This is a link. What is the relation? It is a style sheet. Okay, CSS stands for cascading style sheets. Okay, style sheets, the sheets in which the styles are written. Href, here you need to mention the location. So it's /style.css. So all the linkings and whatever stuff you want to link to your HTML website, which will not be visible on your website, all that things are done in your head tag. And YouTube clone, what does this title do? This, can you see this part? This is where it actually comes on. Karan, no, head is not basically about the information of the HTML page, not like that. The meta tag is about the information of the HTML page. Head includes all the links. If there is any script tag that is added in the head section, the meta tags are actually for the information of an HTML page. Okay. So I hope this is clear. Let me show an example. Let's say if I just hit on hey, this is a tag, H1 tag. If I want to style it, how can I style it? I will take the tag name, which was H1. Let me give it a color. Let's say red. Okay. And I click on save. And now can you see it gets this red color? Okay. So this is how styles work. Now let's start with our exact website. And let's first of all break it into pieces. So this is what we are actually looking to create. Right. And also let me tell you about one more thing, which are semantic tags in HTML. Semantic tags in HTML. So what are semantic tags? Tags which are self-explanatory are semantic tags. We have the following tags in HTML, which are semantic tags. We have header, we have footer, then we have nav, we have main, we have section, okay, and we have article, aside, etc., which we don't generally use. How do you visualize it? Let me tell you. Header. Now, when I say header, what does what all things does it strike? Like what all things are coming to your head when you hear header? The header section, right? Correct, the upper portion actually. So if I tell you about the layouts, let's say this is the website, the top portion can actually be considered as the header. Inside the header, we can have the nav bar. So have you seen many websites where let's say ki ek nav bar hai and below that we have a ribbon kind of a thing ki let's say ki offers going on, a small ribbon kind of a thing. Let me show you an example. Let me ठीक है. So can you see this website? यहाँ पे we can consider that this is a header, and यहाँ पे header is the nav tag also you can consider. But there are many websites की जहाँ पे ऐसा one more flap is there, which gives you a small information कि let's say something is live ऐसे करके. Have you guys seen? मार्की टैग तो नहीं, बट हाँ रिबन काइंड ऑफ अ थिंग इज देयर विच सेज की सेल्स आर लाइव, एंड एक्चुअली हाँ मार्की होके जाता है वो. गवर्नमेंट वेबसाइट्स हैव दैट जनरली. So that can be done, that can be added inside a header, that can be a part of header ki header ke andar you have nav tag as well as that tag, right? And that everything, every content that you can see here, right, in between, that can be considered inside all this thing. This is the footer, this is the footer, right? And all the content that you have in between can be considered inside the main tag. But this portion can be considered as a section. So section, what does it mean? Sections mean kisi cheez ka partition, right? A partition of something. So similarly, if I tell you ki, let's say this is a section, this is a section, this is again a section, right? So how we can actually break this thing? Inside header, I can say, let's say this is the header. So I have the nav bar. Now inside this, I have the main tag. I have the main tag inside which I can have different sections on my website, right? I can have different sections. So that can be made using the section tag. Section tag. And then I have my footer, let's say. footer. Okay, so these are the semantic tags which I am also going to use today to create this website. I hope this is clear to everyone. Okay, great. Let's start. So what I'm going to do inside our body, I'm going to create a header tag. Okay, let us give this a class called header. What is a class? Does anyone know what is a class? Yes, you can call it as a selector. Let me tell you. So we have two concepts in HTML, class and IDs, again, very important. So let's say I have 20 p tags on my website, and I want to give all those p tags a red color. How can I do that? I can do that using classes. Classes are basically to group, generally in your schools also. So let's say your school had 200 students. They wanted to group you. Let's say 7th standard, for 7th standard students, there are these groups. So they separated you within classes, right? Now, in classes also, you can consider them classes to be as sections, A, B, C, D, so many sections are there, right? So classes are for grouping. Now you can pick up that class name and you can call the people. So let's say if I want to call okay, so today's assembly is for class 7th, right? Class 7 students. So that is how they used to categorize you guys, right? Remember? Now all the students from 7th class or 7th standard would come. But let's say I want to call a specific person. So specifically, when I talk, let's say ki, haan, theek hai, I want to call a specific person, what will I do? I'll call that person ki, acha, 7th A. Let's say some Nikhil is there. So Nikhil is there in 7th A, but there are 2 Nikhils. So what I can rather say, there should be some roll number, na, which is unique for Nikhil. So that is what ID does. ID also, classes help you in grouping. ID provides you in uniquely identifying an object. Okay, as the name always suggests, ID, unique. So let's say we again have 10 p tags. We can give same classes to them, but same class names, but we cannot give same IDs to all those p tags. Now let's say in those 10 p tags, I want ki sabko red color mile, but third wala p tag, I want to give it a yellow color. So how can I do that? To that p tag specifically, I can give some other ID, and to that ID, I can give some other styling, a color of yellow, right? So classes are used for grouping and they are not unique, and IDs are unique. Okay. So I'm going to give here a class. That is like the major difference between classes and IDs, is that classes is not unique and IDs are. In interviews, this question is asked. So what I'll do, as I told you, key header, and then inside the header, I'm not adding anything right now. Then I will add a main tag, inside which I'm going to create a div, or let's create a section. Okay, a section, and I'm going to give it a class called sidebar, and another section. Let me give it a sidebar and another section, and let me give it the class called content. Because if you can see, if I break this complete website into portions, it can be broken into 3 parts: this header, this sidebar, and this whole content section, right? So that is what I have done. Broken it into 3 parts. Also, I would be using some fonts for that and these icons. From where I'm using these icons, we are going to use Google Material icons. How to add them? You can just go to this Google Material icons. You guys will see a documentation here. How to add it? See, it tells you how you can add it. Just copy this and we are going to add it here. Now link. Okay. Then I want to use the Google Fonts. Roboto, I would be using Google Fonts and the font family would be Roboto. So let me go here and let's search for Roboto. So we have Roboto here. How do we use it? So see, so simply we are able to use it. Here we have the link. We can just copy this link from here. Or rather we have import option. We can just import this and add it inside our CSS. So links are added inside your head tag. Imports are added inside your style tag. So whatever you can use, just don't use the both the things. Use one of them. Either you can use import, either you can use this link. Okay, simple. You are just basically connecting your website to yeah, so what I was saying ki, here we are actually connecting our website to Google Fonts and we are asking ki, theek hai, all the fonts that you are actually having robot usme se we want Roboto. Is my internet connection is making some issue kya? Soumya, we can use the aside element also, but nowadays, like most of the semantic out of those semantic tags, aside, article, they are not quite used. So rather than like using them, I have straight away use sections. You can use aside also, that would work, no issues. Okay, so let's move ahead. I have added the font family also. Let's come back here. We have added the font family. Now, let's come here to our header section. What I'll do, I'll add some stylings. So see guys, for adding stylings, you need to select something, right? Let's say ki, I want to give to my whole website a margin and padding of 0, 0. What I'll do, I'll use this selector. There is a concept of selectors in CSS. How does the syntax go? Let me show you. So when you are using selectors, this is how you use. You have a selector, okay, and then you add the property and you add the value, sorry, and you add the value for that property. Okay, so I gave you an example, right? A selector can be a tag. Okay, a selector can be a tag. It can be a class name. Just that when we use a class name, we use dot and that class name. When we use IDs, we use hash and that ID name. For now, it is like let us consider the normal cases. What is asterisk? This is a universal selector. Okay, it selects all the HTML tags on your page, all the HTML tags. Okay, so we have targeted all the HTML tags in our page and we are saying we want to give margin 0 and padding also 0. Okay, guys, I'll go slow. Sorry. So this is what we have done. Now let us set the font family. So to my body element, as you can see, body is the tag. I want ki the whole body should get the font family. of Roboto. Okay, so now everything in my code will have this font style. Okay. How to get font family? Guys, you just need to go to just search Google Fonts Roboto. Okay. यहाँ पे you need to go here. You got Roboto. You guys can simply, let me dismiss this. You guys can select the fonts. So if you want to add some other font weight also, font weights are boldness. So 100, you can see the font is not quite bold. As the numbers increase, 300 from 400, the boldness of the font is also increasing. So you can just add them on click, and here you can just copy the link. You will get the link here and you can paste it inside your head tag. And to format the document, just click on format document, right click and format document. Okay. I hope this makes sense. Okay. Now let's come back to the website. Let's come here. So let me break it from here and show you guys. So let's start with our header section. So this is my header section. If you see here, this header section is actually having three things. First part can be divided like this. Key, this is the left part. Then you are having this search wala box. And then you are having these icons on the right side. Okay. And they are actually a part of a complete div. Right? Are you able to visualize this? So guys, I'm going to talk about a very important concept here, which is the concept of flex layout. Now, what is a layout? Layout is a way of structuring your elements in website, in web. So there are two ways, either flex or grid. Okay. Now let me tell you what a flex is and what a grid is. So basically, flex is to lay out elements in 1D, one dimension. Either you can lay out your elements row wise or column wise. So if I talk about here in this case, can you see all my elements? So basically here I'm having a complete div inside which I'm having 1, 2 and 3 small divs, right? 1, 2 and 3. And these are actually in a column format. Correct? These are in a column format. So I can use a flex here. If it would have been something like this, key, let's say I have a parent div. I have this parent div inside which I have children divs aligned like this, one after another. I can again use a flex. In this case, just that all the child elements are arranged in a row format. Correct? One after another. So flex comes into the picture when you are wanting to arrange, let's say you have the layouts divs like this, and you want to keep them side by side, one after the another. One after another is by default, right? Because let's say if I now want to create two divs. Let's say this is div 1, hey, and then you have div another, hi. So by default, if you see, they are one after another. If I want to bring them side by side, how do I do that? By using display flex. So when I will give this divs, let me show you an example. If I give this divs, and first of all, we need to provide display flex, but where do we need to provide this flex? Whenever we give this property flex using display flex, we provide it to our parent element. So this is the parent element, right? This is the parent div. If we give display flex to this element, all the child elements will be appearing side by side. Okay, this is the magic of flex. And it helps you in laying out your elements so efficiently, and it helps you in making your website responsive also. Okay. So let me show you an example. So yahan pe, what do I need to target? Can you tell me if I want to keep these two divs, if I want to make these two divs side by side, to which class do I need to give display flex? Header, correct, Gautam. So I'll use dot header. Dot header, why I use dot? Because I told you for class names, we use dot. So I'll write it display flex. Okay. So now if you see, he and hi are on the same line. Then there is one more concept in flexes, flex direction. Column. If you keep it column, then they will be one after another. And by default, you have the value to be row. So by default, when you want like elements, when you give a display flex, the elements are by default in one by one. One after another, sorry, in row format, side by side. Okay, so this is one more property. We don't need it right now. So we have given the display flex. Now I want that all my elements, if I come here and show you, can you see all my elements are actually having spaces in between in the x-axis? Correct? So for this, I have a property. We have many properties in flex. So once you have given flex, you have flex direction. Okay, which tells you the direction of the elements in row, column. It should be reverse row or reverse column. RC, I'm just writing, okay? Then you have justify content. Justify content is used to align your content, align your elements with respect to the x-axis. Aligning elements with respect to x-axis. And then you have align content also, which does the same thing, aligning elements with respect to y-axis. This is just the difference between align content and justify content. So here I want, and what are the values for them? We have center. Let's say if I want to have my elements in center, if I want space between the elements, I use space between. If I want space around the elements, we have space around. If I want the elements to be on extreme left, we have flex start or start. If I want the elements to be on extreme right, I have flex end or end also. Okay. And if I want spaces evenly in between of each element, we have space evenly we have. Okay. So here I want all the elements should have, see, these are the values that we have: space around, space between, space evenly, all these values. I want space between. Okay. So I add this. Now let's see, can you see? Hey and hi are having absolutely equal spaces between them. If I do this space around, you'll see that now they have spaces all around them, just that the between space, it takes 2 units, and the spaces on left and right, they take one unit. Is my screen fully visible now? Actually, it is due to the upper case. I'm unable to see a few things. We have align items also, Soumya. That is for specific single items inside a parent element. But we do have align content also. Okay. Let's say I use align content. Okay. And I make it as center. Or let me make this at flex end. Okay. Currently, you'll not be able to see much difference though, but what does align content do? It is going to align your element with respect to the y-axis. Currently, since there is no as such need, it is not doing the same. But yeah. So I hope you understood this concept, justify content, display. Right? Now, yes, by default, it is row, Mayank. The flex direction by default is row. Now, what I want, if you see here, I want each of my items inside this whole nav bar to be in center. So for that, now I'm going to use align items because I want my items. People who are saying ki, is it align items or content? Now see, align items because I want to target each of the items. So for them, I'm using align items with respect to y-axis. Whenever this term align comes, iska matlab it's respective to the y-axis. For justify, it is in the x-axis. When it is align items, I want all the items to be aligned to the center. With respect to y-axis, now they will be in center. Let me give the header some height. Let me give the height of 60 pixels and a padding of 15 pixels. Okay, what is padding now? Let me show you. With this, I'm going to cover the concept of box model also. So guys, everything in HTML is actually a box, nothing. Whatever tag you are making, let's say currently we had this header tag, right? So it is nothing, it's making a box. Inside a box, now, when I say box model, what is a box model? It has these components wherein you have the content, okay? You have the margin, you have the padding, and you have the border. Okay, these are the 4 things which you have in a box model. So whenever you are making the header, it's not just the content which you are adding. It includes the padding, margin, and border. Let me show you how. So let's see, this is my header, right? Coming back here, can you see? This is the content, whatever things you are writing, है ना? The content, the actual written part. Then you have the padding. If you remember, we gave here 15 pixels. So can you see padding, this green portion? This actually represents the padding, the space between the border and the content. That is your padding. And then you have border. If I would have given this header, let me give this header a border of 1px. And solid and black. Solid black. I'll show you now. Can you see? If I hover on this, it shows me this border and it shows me this value 1. Now we have the margin, the space that is outside the main element and this element. the main parent element and this element. That spacing is actually called the padding. This is also a question, interview question that is asked, this difference between margin and padding. So margin is the outer space, padding is the inner space. Now let me show you. If I give this element a margin of 15, can you see? It takes the spacing from outside. But when I gave it a padding of 15 pixels, it took a spacing inside that element. So here you can visualize this. You have the content. See the hovering once I hover on it. 15. Border takes 1, 1, 1 as I had given the value 1. And then margin takes 15, 15, 15. Okay. So this is what box model means. Is it clear, people? Guys, is this clear? Okay. So now let's moving forward, we have this main tag now. Okay. To this main tag, what I'm going to do, I'm going to target the main here, main tag, to which I'm going to give it a height. I'm going to give it a height of calc. I'm going to calculate. 100 VH is the total height minus 70 pixels I'm giving. Okay. And I'm going to give it a display. Again, this also I'm going to give it a display flex, because again, if you see here, this was my main tag wherein I added the sidebar and this content section. And I want this to be again into a flex. I want sidebar on left side and this whole content on the right side. That is why to the whole main tag, I am giving a display flex and a background color of F9, F9, F9. So now if I show you here, this is what we have. Okay. We have the main tag here, right? Yeah. Oh, yeah. So now you have this. Calc one again. Okay. So what I'm doing here, calculation, calc is just calculation. So what happens here? 100 VH. VH stands for vertical height. If you want to give some width, you can use width, vertical width. Okay. That also you can use VW. So VH means 100 VH means the complete size of a screen, right? The visible screen is actually 100 VH. So what I'm doing, I'm minusing the this height. The height of this element was 60 pixels, right? Let me make it 60 rather. Okay. So what we are doing here, we are just minusing that value, nothing else. Yes, I've filled the color. I guess it's not visible. Let me make it red. Is this visible? And also, guys, this is the difference between 100% and VH. Some slight difference, like one is VH is absolute and 100% is a relative unit. Okay. And also, guys, one more thing, if you would have seen, this is a developer tool. When I was talking about developer tools, this is what it is. You can visualize your HTML and CSS very efficiently here. You can add, like, you can just add normal CSS here, check it. Okay. And matlab, you can just copy paste the code, because CSS is all about hit and trial. So you can check it yourself. If I had red here, if I just refresh my whole page, so red nahi rahega. So you can use this thing for hit and trial your consoles. ऐसे करके. Cool. So this is your developer tool. Now let's move forward. Once we have done this, let's style the let's style our sidebar also. So we have had the sidebar, right? The sidebar tag. It was dot sidebar. Let's come here. So this is what I had, right? Sidebar. So that is what I have added here. Sidebar, inside which I am going to give this a height of, again, 100% now. Let me give it a width of 17%. A background color, white. Okay. And yes, this is what I have. And yep, that is fine. So we have this bar, scroll bar. So we are done with this part. Now, let's move to the exact. Yep, sure. I'll show the index file. It's simple. We haven't added any components here. So let's start adding the components now, guys. Let's be a bit faster and let's start. So inside the header, if you see, what all things do we have? As I told you here, we have a left, we have a center, and we have a right div. So what I'm going to do inside the div, let us give 3 classes, div, left, okay. I'm going to give a div center. Let me give the class and let me give div right. So I have made 3 divs. In the left, if you see, I have a logo, right? So let me give this another class called logo. Okay. Inside this, what I need, let's come to the left portion now. Guys, please be very attentive now. Yes, Kumada, what we have done, what is the difference between using height 60 pixels and no, see what we have done, we wanted ki 100% में से minus कर दो इतना height and वो height दो इस main section को. That is what we have done. We didn't know the height of this section. We knew कि पूरे screen का size is 100 VH and the height of this element is 60. I have just given 10 px extra, so that is what I have done. 100 VH minus 70 pixels. Okay. So let's come back. Be very attentive, guys. I'm starting with this left wala portion. This left wala portion is having your this icon plus YouTube. So let's add that. Since we were using material icon, if you remember, we were using Google material icons and symbols. So if you go here, we want something like this, a menu. How to add it? You can simply add the name. So what I'll do here, I will add an I tag inside which I will add menu. Okay. And for its identification, it needs this class called material icons. Okay. And let me give this I tag an ID of menu. Okay. Next, I'll just use an image. So I'll provide you guys with this image, which you guys can also use. Next is this icon. Let's come back here. So if you see, we have this YouTube icon, this image. Let me add this image here. And let me format the document. So now, if you see here, we have this left section. Now it's time to add the middle section, right? This one. So what do we do? Now it's a form if you see. How to create forms? So we have, let me add one more class here, search center. And inside this, I'm going to create a form. We create a form using this form tag, and then we have 2 components here. We have the search bar and we have this button. right? We have this input element. So I'm going to add an input element. The type of this will be a text. Type refers to, if I want a text here, I'm going to add that. Let me show you. So currently I've added text, so I can add that. There are other types also. Let's say there is email. Okay. So Suman, can you see? If I hit on it, it says that please include an @ because emails include @. So we are using text for now. And then I'm using a placeholder. Placeholder is for this, the text which you can see, right? When no text is there, the text that you can see is actually the placeholder. Next, what do we have? Guys, I'm going a bit faster since like just not wanting, it's already 10:27, so that's why I just wanted to be a bit faster. If you guys are fine, if you want me to be slower because I wanted to complete the topics, you guys can see the videos also, the video lecture. That is why I am being a bit faster. So is it fine if I go a bit faster? You guys tell me. Yeah, okay. So we have the search bar. Next, what I want a button. If you see there, we required a button also, right? Which is the search. So again, let me use the same format. I'm going to add it inside this button since I want this icon here. This icon, which is a search icon. Sorry, we want the search. So I'll write here. Let me give it, we don't need any ID though. So it is search. So we have the search icon. Then I want a similar icon after the button. Okay, after the button, after the form, I want it. Let me remove this ID and I want a mic icon. So I'm giving it a class and the name was mic. Okay, let us search for it. I will show you how the mic actually looks. So this is the one that I'm actually using. So if you see here, we have this mic also. Yes, you'll get the class recording, guys. So you have it now, you have the mic section. Now let's come to the right hand side. So in the right hand side, let me show you, we have these components rounded. Since all these components were quite same, I'm just adding them here. So I have just added the video call icon, the apps, the notification bar, and the profile section. That's it. Okay. So we have the HTML with us now. Now is the time to add CSS to it. Right? So let's add the CSS. Let's start with this section, the left section. Import these icons. This is the way we were using to import the icons. This is how we actually imported the icons. So now we just can add I in the class. This is the class given by that library. So that is why we are using material icons. Okay. If I'll remove this material icons, you'll see nothing, just a text. So adding material icons, this class is the class given by that library. That is what you need to add. Now let's come back, guys. Yahan pe let's start adding CSS to this left class. So if you see here, we have the left class here, right? So let me copy this. I want that all the elements in left class should have display flex. I want them to be in the same row, and they should be in the center of the y-axis. Can you tell me which class can I use? Which property can I use to bring elements to center with respect to y-axis? We use this, align items, correct. So we'll use align items to center. So now can you see it's in center? Now for this menu wala button, I'll give it some padding. So inside the left also, if you see, we had this left section inside which we had this menu. So how do I target it? So left is my parent class and inside it I had menu. So what I'll do, dot left space hashtag, since it's a ID menu, and I'll give it a padding 0 and 7 pixels, and I'll give it a cursor pointer. When someone points on it, it actually, can you see this hand? That is this pointer in the cursor. Next comes your middle section. Okay, now what happens in the mid section? Let's come here. So now you had this search section, right? Search class. This is your search class, the center one. I'm going to align all these elements in the same line. Again, how to align them? Using display flex, right? Since I want everything to be in one row. So I use display flex. Inside the search, I have the form. If you remember, the form class is there. So let me give it again a display flex, this form, so that both these elements are in the same line. And let me give this a border of 1 pixel, solid, and a color of this, and a height of 45 pixels. So now you see all the elements in this section have the height. These elements now have the height. Now coming on the input. Yes, guys, see, I don't think maybe how can I write this CSS and tag so very well, because I have practiced, I've worked for so many years, and also for the CSS, since I've already made this project once, so I know what all properties are to be added. Whereas in CSS, it's not like that key, this is the way, this is the hard and fast way, this is the best way to write the CSS. No, nothing like that. There is all CSS is all about hit and trial. So you can write the same CSS using some other properties. That is completely fine. One won't say ki nahi hai, sahi se nahi kiya hai. Just that make the use of flexes and grids correctly. Okay. So now I'm going to target this section, which you see. How can I'll show you one more way of targeting it. Right click karo koi bhi element ko, just click on inspect. It is going to show you that particular element. Now I want to add some styling to this input tag, which is inside your form. You can just try it here. I'm going to show you now how you can hit and trial the CSS. Let me say I want to give it a width of 600, and it is so efficient. You can add the CSS here and see ki kya changes ho rahe hain. Padding, let me give it a padding of 10 pixels. Let me give it a border none. Okay. And also border. Okay, border is done. So ऐसा करते हैं इसको. Height we have already given. Yep. तो ऐसा करते हैं, border radius दे देते हैं इसको. 0 pixels, 10 pixels, and 10 pixels and 0 pixels. ऐसे कर देते हैं. Now let me just copy this. Okay, this would have been border radius. For now, I'll just copy it and I'll paste it. Where? Up search के other input था, right? So we have search and उसके other input tag we had. बस I'll add it here. Simple. Okay. So now I have this search wala portion. I can give a font size of 14 pixels यहाँ पे, or I can increase it also. Let me keep it 14 pixels only. So we have font size 14 pixels inside this element. Okay. Now, if you see, once I click on it, I'm getting this outline. I don't want this. How do I remove it? There's a pseudo class which I can add on input. It's actually focus. Okay. Key on focusing, I don't want any outline. This is what outline property is. Now, if you see, when I'm focusing on it, I'm clicking on it, but I'm not getting that bluish outline. Okay. So this is what focus does. Let me say hover. What does hover do? It will say कि when you are going to hover on this element, तब नहीं होना चाहिए. Can you see? Once I hover on it, तब नहीं है, बाकी है normally. कभी कभार हाँ. So did you see? तो हमें hover पे नहीं चाहिए. We want on focus. तो focus पे we don't want any outline. Focus on whenever like you click on any button या फिर input पे अगर click करते हो just to add any value, that is what focus does. Moving forward, ये हो गया. This section is done. Now comes the turn of this button, which is present again inside this form class. So let's style it here and we'll copy and paste it there. तो इसका भी height already है. So let us give it a width of 60 pixels. Okay. And border, none. Done. So let's add this. We have dot search. We have button inside that. And we had this format document. Okay. Yep. So now things are in place. Yes, this is how things work in companies also. Don't worry, whatever I'm taking up, it is actually how things are taken in companies, right? Now, next, I want that this mic is there, right? We had given it a class, mic. I want कि ये थोड़ा नीचे आए. How do we do that? We can give it a margin top of, let's say 10 pixels. Yeah, that looks fine. So let us give this margin, this mic, a margin top of 10 pixels. So this is also fine now. Now to all these material icons, I want to give some color. So I'll target the class material icons, right? Icons, and I'll give them a color. Let's say, what color should we give them? Let me give them a color, this 0, F0, F0. And then I'll give them a padding of 0 and 7 pixels and a cursor pointer. See, now they have some padding, right? So we are done with our top section now, the header section. Correct? I guess we have missed something here, maybe. Some values we might have missed, I guess. Let's just fix these values just a second. Okay. Let me just fix these values and let's check. Yes. Okay. So I guess there was a few things that we might have missed. Margin top, these are all the values that we have added. Okay. We missed adding box sizing. Okay. Box sizing. Now, what does box sizing do? Let me show you. Yeah. This thing. Right. We missed the material icons. Let's add the material icons part. So we had the material icons, right? So yeah, this looks fine now. So we missed adding one part, the box sizing, border box. So what is box sizing, guys? Again, a very important concept. Border boxing. Box sizing, sorry. Box sizing. So guys, as I told you, matlab generally what happens, every element, when you give it a width and height, generally it's not just the width and height of that element. The total width and height of an element actually constitutes the total width is actually equal to width that you have given, the padding that you have given to that element, the margin that you have given, and the border that you have given. And for height also it's same. I showed you, right? Yahan pe let's see. Yeah. So dekho, whenever it's a width, it's not just that ki width itni hai, the width is 1698 pixels. It's 1698 plus 15, the width of the padding that you have given. So normally what happens when you give a padding and extra padding to an element, तो width increase हो जाता है. When you give box sizing, what does border box says? कि whatever the total width of the element is, उसी में जो भी padding वगैरह include होगा, that will be included inside the width. Let me give you an example. Let's say the width of an width you gave to a div was 100 pixels. You gave it a padding of 10 pixels. Okay. So now the total width becomes 110 pixels, right? Correct? But when we do box sizing, this thing, your border box, what does it say? Whatever padding you are going to give, that is going to be included inside that 100 pixels. Just that. It is not going to, the total width is not going to be 110 pixels. Got it? You can see the difference yourself. Let me remove this. Can you see? It was taking padding, since we had given padding 15 pixels from all the side margins and all. That is why it was taking so much space. So just that, just by removing that thing, we are able to solve our issue. So it is box sizing, border box. Okay. Screen is not visible. I don't think so, guys. My screen should be visible. It's visible, right? Cool. So let's move forward with the next section. Once, since we are done with this section, shall we move to the next section now then? So now let's start with the sidebar. Okay. Acha, for the icons, guys, see, this is how you can do that. Just copy this link tag. It is present in material icons. No, guys, you will not get this code. Obviously, it's for scholarship. So if we'll provide you the code, how can you guys apply for the scholarship? You just need to go to material icons, just search material icons, Google material icons, okay? Google material icons. The first thing that you will get is this. इस पे भी मत जाओ, just go to this link. When you'll move down, you'll get this. I'm sharing this page with you guys. You'll get the link here. Okay. Now let's move forward with this section wherein we have all the components in place. We have the icons here. So let's add these icons now to the sidebar. Inside the sidebar, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a div nav inside which I'm going to add an A tag with a class nav link. Okay. And inside this A, I'm going to add a material icon. Material icons. Oops, yeah. And it will be a home icon. This home icons, okay? So we have this home icon now, and we have the span tag inside which I'm going to add home. Okay. So one link is created. We have this home, and similarly, let us do one thing. Let us just style this nav once. So we have the nav. Let us style it. Okay, yeah. So we have .nav. Now let's give the width of 100%. The width will be 100%, and I'll give it a display flex again so that things are in the same line. Flex direction will be column because all the elements that I'm going to add to this nav will be one after another. Can you see? They are going to be one after another. That's why I've given the flex direction column this time. The margin bottom, let me give it some margin bottom of 15 pixels, or let's do one thing. Let us give it margin. So from top and bottom, I want 15 pixels, and from right to left, it will be 0 pixels. Let's go ahead and see. Okay, that's fine. Now let's style the nav link. So we have the nav link here. So we have nav link here, right? This was the class name. Let us again give this a display flex. I want it to be in center. Let me show the things to you here itself. So we have the nav link, this part here, right? I've given it display flex. I want the items to be aligned in the center. And I'll give some padding. Sorry, guys. 12 pixels and 25 pixels, let's say. Okay. So let me add these two properties here. Next thing that I'm going to target is the span tag that is present here. So to the span tag, let me give a margin left 15 pixels. So we use dot nav link. I hope you are able to understand what I'm doing here. Nav link, and inside that we have span. I hope this is visualized. Inside the nav link, you have span. That is why I have given this. Okay. Now, on the nav link hover, currently on hovering, I want that the background should be of this type, this one. So how do I do this? I do this like it. So we have nav, link, and we have hover. Okay. And I'll give it a background color of E5, 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 and a cursor pointer. So now when you hover on this, okay, I guess I have missed something. Let's see. Okay, just a second. Let me just add this inside the nav. Okay, we have things in place. I guess I had given the name to be something as wrong. That is why it happened. Cool. It's fine now. Didn't get the nav link. What's the issue there? This hover part, is it? Underline is coming under home icon. It should be fixed by this, guys, inside the div. You need to add the elements inside the div. And then if you're still getting that, you need to add text decoration as none. Like I'm not getting that value here. Okay. Once you are done with this now, so we have added the elements. Now inside this, we are going to add the different elements also, the trending and the subscription. So what I'm doing, since all these things are quite similar, I am just copying them and adding them here. We just format the document. And yeah, let's see. So we have all these 3 sections in place now. You see? After this, what I'm going to do, I'm going to add a HR tag below this whole div. HR tag is a horizontal tag, which is going to give you a line, this particular line. Okay, let us style this HR tag. So we have HR, and let us give this a height of 1 pixels, background color to be E5, E5, E5 only, and border none. Okay, so we have this now. In the next part, if you see here, we again have so many components. Again, they are quite similar. So what we can do, the name of the elements, guys, you can get from material icons. Again, if you search here for the material icons, right, you will get the names of all the icons from here. So you can just copy the name and add it. All the other things remain same. Okay, so that is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to copy the element names and I'm going to add it before the tag here. So now if you see, what do we have? We have library history and all of these things present here. Okay. So now our sidebar is also ready. Can you see this? Our sidebar is also ready. I hope it's clear till here, everyone. Flexes, because that is most important. Flexes. I hope that is clear. Okay, great. Now let's start with a video section then. This is the video section, right? This is our video section. Nav, please repeat. What's the doubt in that? See, we have done nothing. Bas normal hai. Section hai. Inside that, we have a whole nav section. ठीक है? And then we have all these nav links present. Different nav links are present. Nothing else. Why use span tag? Okay. See, span tag is an inline element. And you know the concept of block and inline elements in HTML. It's a very important topic again. Let me explain it to everyone. Span and div. So div and span dono same hai. Just the differences of block and inline elements. So what are block elements? Block elements are the elements which start from the next line. And inline elements, let's say we have two divs. So a div always starts from a new line. A p tag also starts from a new line. But a span tag always starts from the point where the previous span had actually left. So these are inline elements which start from the point where the previous element had ended. If I give you an example, let me show you. Let's say I have this p tag, okay? Hey, and I have added this p tag side by side, hi. And let me show it to you. Can you see? Hey, hi. They are one after another. Is it visible to everyone? एक second. Hey, hi, ऐसे, is it visible? Or okay, let me do one thing. यहाँ से हटा के, let me add it here. Is it visible now? Hey, and after that, hi. So these are block elements. P tags are block elements. Kitna bhi aap pass mein likho, but they are going to start from the next line. Whereas if I would have used something like span, hey, and then next line maybe if I'll write another span na, hi, it is going to lie in the same line. From where the hey ended, wahan se hi hi start ho jayega. Because span is an inline element. Okay. Okay, so now let's move to this section, guys, the last section, okay? Please bear with this. We are going to complete it within 20 minutes, okay? So just bear with the section and then we are done. Nav beans, nav bar. Nav bar. Okay? So let's come to this section now. What I'll do inside the content section, I'll create a div which I'll name as videos. Inside this, let me add one more div which I'll name as video. Okay, so inside the videos, we are going to have multiple video tags. If you see here, you can consider that this is a whole video section and uske andar we are having different divs, video, and then we can give them the display flex. Okay, so that is my idea. What I'm doing, I'm breaking it into a case jahan pe I can use flex. Okay. So let's move here. Say the video. Now you have div.thumbnail. Isme I'm going to add an image. Okay. ये image I'm going to get it from here. एक YouTube का normal एक image. Let's see what we have. Okay, so currently we are having this kind of an image. If you see here, we have this section and then we have this section. Right, details. We can call this as the thumbnail and this is the detail section. So yahan pe bhi, let me tell you how I'm actually breaking it. Please understand it very carefully. So what I'm doing, now understand this. So I have this whole div. Inside which I have 4 divs, 1, 2, 3, 4 videos. So this was easy. कि ठीक है 4 divs में 4 videos में I can actually divide it. Videos के अंदर 4 video आ जाएंगी. Now let's talk about one video wala section. If you see here, inside this div also, let's say this is one div. Inside this div also, you have 2 divs. This is the first div. This is the second. So again, ye parent div hoga inside which you are having 2 children div. This is for the thumbnail, and one for the details. Okay. Now inside the details, what do you have? You can again break it into 2 divs. Again, guys, whenever you are given a website, break it into as many divs as you can. That is going to solve your problem, because then you will be able to know ki flexes use kaise karna hai. Now can you see ye ek div hai, I have broken it to 2 divs. I can again use flex for them, right? And these are the normal cases. So this is what I'm going to do. Inside the details also, I'm going to create 2 divs, one for the author and one for the div title. Okay, was this clear? Guys, inside the author now, what I'm doing, I'm just adding an image. I just, what I'll do, I have an image. I'm using free pics for images. I want the profile image. So let me download this profile image. I went here. Let me download this, free download. So I have it. Let me just unlock it. And let me add the JPG in my code. Okay, let me rename it as profile pic. Okay, and I can use it inside my author. So I'll use the image tag and I'll use this profile pic here. And inside the title, what I'll do, let me just show it to you. Can you see this was the profile image and this is the text? Let me use this text and add it inside the H3 tag. And I will add all this content inside a span tag. Or let me add it inside an A tag, ahref. We have this thing. Let me cut it from here and I'll add it in a span tag. Let me just refactor the document, format it. Okay, so we have H3, we have an A tag, and then we have the span tag. This is what we have for a section. And we are done with the HTML part of this. Currently, the images and everything is too big, so we'll have to refactor everything. Correct? So let's do the refactoring now. And that will be the end of this whole session mostly. Okay, so let's start. So we had this content class. Inside the content, let me give it a background color of F9, F9, and F9. So with what was my content? This section, right? To this, let me give a width of 100% also, a height of 100%, a padding of 15 pixels, and a border top. Let me give, let us see this. What do we have? So if you see here, we have a border top from here. So this is what I'm giving, this border. So border top, one page solid, and DDD. And then let me give it overflow from y-axis as scroll. What does it mean? It means that when the content is more, then show this scroller, otherwise not. Okay. Can you see? So now we have a scroller. On the X and this axis, y-axis, we don't want it, so we'll have to fix it. So content dot videos. Now to the videos, we give a display flex. You remember, to all the videos, we are going to give a display flex. All the videos. This was the parent. Once we have done that, we are going to give everything, give it a flex direction of row. Then I'll give it a justify content of space around, because I want space all over the elements. Okay, that is why I have given space around. And now let me give flex wrap. What does this wrap property does? It is going to wrap. Let's say if I would have added 4, 5, 6 elements all along. So whatever elements are overflowing, they are going to come inside to the next line, the next row. Okay. So this is for the videos. Now comes to style for each video. For each video, let's give each video 270 pixels, a width of 270 pixels, and margin bottom of, let's say, 30 pixels. Now let's see, what do we have? Okay, we'll have to style more. So let's style the thumbnail now. So this was the thumbnail, if you remember. Let's come here. So we have the thumbnail here, right? Let's style it. So we have width 100% and height 170 pixels. So we have this thumbnail now. Let me copy this and let me add to dot thumbnail. Now let's so I'll give it a width of 100%. So now it's fine. It's in right format now. Height and width is correct. To the author image, so we had this class called author, inside which we again had this image. So again, I'll give it a border radius of 50% to convert it into a circle. I'll give it a height of 40 pixels and a width of 40 pixels and a margin right of, let's say, 10 pixels. So now can you see this image is in between and this image becomes so small. One more thing is remaining, that is styling these elements, introvert and all this text, right? So let's add some styling to this text also. Again, this is the detail section. So inside for this detail section, I'll give a display flex. Can you see for the details? This was the whole details one. So now it's in flex. To the title now, I'm again going to give display flex. But in this case, what would I want? Everything should be in column. So I am going to give flex direction as column. Now, can you see? It's in column format. To the H3 tag inside this, let me give, so it's pretty straightforward now. Let us give it these colors and styles. here. So it looks fine. And then to the title A tag and the span tag, I'm going to give same styles. The text decoration will be none. Color, let me give it the color of DDD and font size to be 12 pixels. Okay, let us give this some other color. RGB 96, 96 and 96. Okay, so this section is also done. But now if you see here, for every row we are actually having 4 elements, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to copy this video 4 times. Copy 2, 3 and 4. Let's see now. So can you see in one row we are having 4 columns now. And if you want to repeat the same thing, just copy this video section and you can paste it second time and third time. Simple. So your YouTube clone is ready. This is absolutely ready, guys. This is just a simple example. Also, I was telling you guys about grids. So grid is a 3D thing. So 2D thing, sorry. So Flex, I told you for elements, if you want to place your elements in a 1D, either in a column format or in a row format, grid helps you in placing your elements in row and column both. So you might have seen cards like this. Let me show you. In Zomato, we have this. Okay, so can you see this in a card format? Then you have this card, let's say. You have 3 rows and 3 columns. You can make this structure using a grid simply. Where you have rows and columns both, there you can use column straight away, okay? Yeah, guys, I understand we are actually, I had to take this up a bit faster, but don't worry, there are more things to come up. And also there are so many things, like despite of CSS, also so many topics to be covered in CSS, and then there is bootstrap and so many things step by step. Since not everything can be covered in the same class, that is why we have the courses. So this is just a glimpse. Number of view dynamically. Okay, guys, so just a second. I see a lot of people asking for the LinkedIn profile. Let me share it with you. So this is my profile. You guys can navigate here and find me. Okay. That's great. In the saplings, yes, in the actually for both the cases, we are going to cover the basics anyway. So don't worry. For the pioneer as well as the saplings, they are going to cover the fundamentals because those are necessary. But yeah, that's all for today's class, guys. Any doubts, anything you guys would want me to tell regarding front-end dev, yeah, web dev as such, and also key, how did you like the session? Any feedbacks for me? Apart from that, the session was a bit fast. Recordings will be there most probably. But can be a case key you might not receive it today. They might be uploaded tomorrow or day after tomorrow. Yeah. Guys, this course, the recordings will be uploaded on pre-course wala website. And don't worry, for this, I guess Shikha will be contacting you guys, or you guys can ask your doubts on Discord. I guess everyone is there on Discord, right? Guys, I don't have an exact idea of the course fee. Thank you so much, guys, for your feedback. Thanks a lot. That's so sweet of everyone. Discord link, again, can anyone send the Discord link? Even I'm not having that. Don't worry, guys, if you join the course, since I'm going to mentor the course, obviously, like we take care of everything for all the modules. Like it happens that let's say in the first module you are since we have tests also, once we teach, after that we are giving you assignments. So once you complete those assignments, only then you are allowed to go to the next module. If you fail in the assignments, then you'll have to repeat the module one, which is absolutely fine, and that is absolutely for free. It is just that we want to make sure ki you were able to understand the modules, and then only you are going to the next module. So yeah. Uh, uh, Chitranjan, दो type के courses are, I guess. One is a pioneer and one is sapling. One of them is pay after placement and one is pay before placement. मतलब you have to pay upfront. ऐसा है. Shelja, I don't have idea about Apache NetBeans, so cannot tell you. Might not be the best person to tell you this. HTML तो normally HTML से ही होता है, not any other way as such. But yeah. Also, guys, please do share your feedback. If you get any feedback form, do share your feedbacks. It will help me also to I might not be the best person or the best tutor. I also have a scope of improvements. Your feedbacks would really help me as well as the institution also to learn about how do you guys want to learn things. Okay. So your feedbacks are welcomed. Also, since I see 37 and around 50 people were still there till the last of the session, thanks a lot, guys, for your patience also. Because going through all these things, you were there for 3 hours. That deserves applause, literally. For me also, since I'm teaching, for me it is easy. But for you guys, being patient and being engaged, it is difficult. And I guess among those 100 people, you 50 people were there, which is quite applauding. So I would request everyone to complete the code. It is very simple. So please complete it and upload it. Okay. And please do apply for scholarships. It would be helpful for all of you. Since you 37 are there, so please apply for the scholarships. And since it's quite easy also, right? Cannot disclose the package, obviously, but yeah, it's quite high and it's quite equal to what big wigs give. Maybe Amazon, Flipkart, Myntra, whatever these guys give have quite a same package and a better package, I must say. But yes, anything else do you guys want to know? Yes, this is probably my first job. But yes, before that, as I told you, I'm working since more than 3.5 years as an intern too. System design interview में आता है, yes, when you are actually system design interviews mostly SD2s के लिए आता है, SD1s के लिए इतना ज्यादा नहीं आता है, but हाँ आता है when you gain 1.5 या 1 year of experience also, तो system design चाहे front end में हो या back end में हो, it surely comes. I'm primarily working in backend right now. So we use Java, Spring Boot, and all the technologies, Postgres for backend, all these things. We use deployments, and then many things are there. For the front end, we use React. My internship was in a very small firm, guys. I started from a very basic thing. My first internship, I just hardly used to earn 5,000. And then it grew exponentially when I went to my second internship opportunity, and then I landed an internship with Geeks for Geeks. Source code will not be available, guys. It will be available. It will not be available because that's the purpose of scholarship, I told you. Okay, guys, I guess the session went well, and thanks a lot for being so patient and bearing me for the whole session. We'll meet again tomorrow and we'll discuss about all your doubts regarding placements and specifically front-end placements, okay? So see you guys tomorrow. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye, guys. Good night. Bye-bye.